divine night, guys and goddesses. Ego tripping. Tripping the program that is our ego. Tripping the program, or better yet, understanding the program with a mindset that is our ego that has us locked where we're at. Ego tripping. We have to get past, of course, the thought process that you are your ego. Oh my God, my ego is this and my ego is that, and this is my ego. This is what's created me. Put out a couple good newses. I've been actually don't even feel it anymore. But over this last week, I felt a little bit under the weather due to the climate change. A couple things went down, and I needed a time of reflection. So that's why, if anybody's not seen anything on my Facebook post or normal videos, working on a new podcast, putting a new podcast season together, a whole bunch of other things are in the works. Season 2 of the God Hour will start next Tuesday. I want to say that's like the 11th. Other good news, my death date, the death of the human, the death of who I was to now what I am is on the 16th, on next Sunday. No, not next Sunday, the 16th of this month that's coming up. But we're going to get into ego tripping. We got to trip the ego, but we have to understand the ID, what you identified as. That's that childlike mindset of the ego. The ego itself, which is after birth, and then what it is born into after your indoctrination, which is your superego. As you're stepping through into your spiritual awakening, becoming conscious, you're going from your superego, which is your morality, which is like the head part of your humanity. Whenever I tell people about their humanity, that is your mortality. That is what made you. That's what created the human spectrum that became you. That's what that means. So when I say the human part of you, that's what we're talking about in that mix. I'm also looking at music as I'm doing this. Your ego is broken down to these three parts: your identity, your ego, and your superego, which is so basically birth, indoctrination, humanity, what you are, what has you stuck where you are. It doesn't matter what knowledge you take in. It doesn't matter how much knowledge of self you take in. It doesn't matter what you take in. If it is still operating off of the old system, if still operating from the old program that is of you, then everything that you do, everything that you say will be defended by the old system that is within you. Everything. Your very existing, your very moves, every move that you make, everything that you want to do, everything that you want to be, everything that you want to rise into as you're rising into your higher self, everything will be challenged over and over and over again by your ego. That's the thing that is stopping a lot of us is our ego. You'll get into a certain aspect where I read a post earlier in my man, I think it was one of my people's on Facebook. He put, the next time a white man calls you nigger, or says calls you a nigger, don't respond. Nod your head and keep walking. Accept it as a compliment. What you're doing is taking away power from them because they need you. There's going to be these entities at this level. They're going to need you to react. So they're like, oh my God, fuck. They need you to react. They need you to react. They need that they need that negative backlash. They need that negative thought process. You ever noticed in your life there was always something that always need negative comments? You have that one person that's always around you that No matter how positive your life is going, how everything positive is going on in your life, they always come to you with some negative gossip. They always have something to tell you about your friend over here, something happened over here at work, something happened at their job, something happened at their fucking family. Their mother did this, their dad did this, their sister did this, their boyfriend did this, their girlfriend did this. Those aspects still resonate with you and are so comfortable with coming to you because somewhere inside of you, still programmed inside of you, in your identity, you identify with it. On the grand scheme of things, we can use something that's in real time, that's going on in real time as we use time in this constraint, in this context. The Gayle King fucking interview. I haven't seen it, didn't feel like seeing it, didn't want to see it. It's not something that's on my wavelength. But apparently everybody's like, oh my God, I can't believe she said that about Kobe. She tried to bait Leslie into that. Leslie didn't budge. She didn't say anything. Oh my God, but then Snoop Dogg and Boosie and all these motherfuckers are the same exact tandem. So it's like they need that in between themselves. Don't bother with what the humans do. Don't sip from the community pool, as I've said the last couple of weeks. What we get stuck in a lot of the times is based on our identity. What we identify as then. What you identified as. I'm a black man. I'm a strong black woman. Black power. Okay, cool. There's activists right now that have been doing Black Panther, have been around every movement ever since the 1960s. They've been in the same movement since the 1960s with that same mentality. So everything that they've gained was gained based on that mentality. So they have to stay in that space. Remember, I told you, for something to survive at a certain level and to be benefited from a certain level, the same components must be re-augmented every single time. So as we sit here and think about, oh my God, America was never great, and you name out everything that went on to our ancestors, went on to our elders, one of our going back and forth in that aspect, that has to be maintained in this level. That level of negativity must be maintained to gain anything positive from that space. It must be maintained in that space over and over and over again to keep that everything that comes from that space, negative or positive, behooves to you. The shit that went on to your ancestors, shit that went on to our ancestors in that moment of time, when the moment of time that some of us chose to stay asleep through, needs to keep happening. So I remember I saw another post about we're gonna get the hard copy out. The post about everybody thought that them putting a white supremacist in office would change things. How would it change or disrupt anything when that was how the system was designed in the first place? We're sitting here trying to buck and destroy systems that we let go of a long time ago. Honestly, the things that we send to go fight back and forth with, we've already had. Why would you fight so hard for something that you already had? Why would you fight so hard for something that's not really worth anything at the end of the day? It's a hard pill to swallow, but it's because of what you're identifying as. The things that you identify in this space, in this time, or what have you, will have you stuck in your ego. That's how deep your ego is programmed. Your ego has been programmed over and over and over again. Your ego has been programmed and that's held in a certain space and been poured on and poured on and poured on. Keep pouring the gasoline on the flame. So everything that's happening at this moment in time, is it tripping your ego or feeding your ego? Think about everything that's being fed upon. You can't even get to a certain point of you can't even get into a certain point of conversation with certain entities, certain people, because based off their perception, based on what makes them, it challenges their ego in a way they're not willing for it to be pushed yet. That's the thought process. That's that ego tripping. That's how you have to trip your ego. You have to trip the programming and reset it, or nothing else. You are not going to be able to manifest, bring anything into, you're not going to be able to usher anything in the old mindset. The same thing I was talking about, writing old spells. You're listening from old spells, you're quoting from old books. What new information has been brought to you? The new information is not going to be brought to you from anybody that's going to bring you a book. It's the information that you're going to start taking in as you start opening your mind to the information. The book is to work the muscle. Once the muscle is strong enough, then the download comes to you. I don't do I don't say anything for confirmation. I don't say anything for validation. I say everything that I'm based on as a learning tool for you to move forward. The interpretation of what I've gathered, and this is, oh wait, that's what this really might mean. What you take from it, and then you take that seed, plant it into your sunken place. But you have to have the ability, in order to even have the ability to listen at a certain wavelength to certain things that are being said, you have to be open to that. If you have to be open to that type of information, you have to be open to it. You cannot. I can sit here and speak for 6 hours on end. Damn, he sounded deep. That's nice. But if your mind, your mental scape is not open, your subconscious is not open, everything that at a certain point in time, every time somebody says something to you is going to offend the shit out of you. Every time someone says something to you is going to offend the shit out of you. It's going to offend you. Everything I say to some people at the beginning of my time, when I was battling through speaking and learning how to speak and when to speak and when to just let motherfuckers be them, in that aspect, kept getting stuck. They would get upset. They would have their opinion. Well, I'm about the black family, and I'm about black love, and I'm about the black family. Okay, that's nice. That's you. I didn't say I wasn't against it. But you just said fuck moms and fuck dads and fuck sisters and fuck brothers. You have to be willing to say fuck you have to be willing to say, you have to be willing to look at the shit that you love the most and sacrifice it. What are you truly sacrificing? Time is an illusion, so you're not sacrificing time. Money is an illusion, so you're not sacrificing money. You have to sacrifice something that is truly there. The one quotient out of every problem, every issue, everything that happens, there's one conduit that is always constant. That is your mind and your attention, your ego. It's always going to be present. Your ego is always present. Your attention, your mind is always present. If you have to go to work, what's present at the job? You. If you have to deal with your whack ass baby father or whatever it may fucking be, you going to the family function and being looked at as you're fucking crazy. What's the code? What is the one constant factor that never changes in all those times? And what is the one constant variable that's constant in all these lines? Yourself. So the only thing that matters and that needs to be reprogrammed and needs to be checked is yourself. I don't need to go check my mother. I don't need to go check my pops. I don't need to go check my sisters. I don't need to go check aunts and uncles. I don't need to go check friends. I don't need to go check anybody else but myself, because all I can control is my reaction, my moves, what I do. All I can control is my reaction and my acceptance of what is presented in front of me. in what I do while I'm standing there. It's like me walking into a burning fucking house and saying, damn, it's hot in here. Can we turn the air on? It's like me walking out into the ocean if I could not swim and walking out into the middle of the ocean and then getting upset that the ocean pulled my ass, the current pulled me under. I knew I couldn't, I didn't possess the knowledge to do that. So why would I put myself in that space? That's the ego. That's what you're identifying as. You want to be identified in this unified sense. The only thing that you need to work on unifying is your divine mind to your divine spirit, to your divine spark, to your divine self. That's the only thing you need to work on. Everything else falls into place. You just don't have the confidence in yourself. Most motherfuckers don't have the confidence in themselves to actually be like, yo, if I sit back and I observe, maybe I might peep some shit. If I sit back and I observe, maybe I might hear some shit that I need to hear. What's stopping me from listening? What's stopping me from going to the next step? What's stopping me from walking through the door of death? Your ego. Everything that you identified yourself with before you came into your spiritual self, before you came into your awakening, one of your first awakenings was what you identified with. Those are the first things that you have to. That's what it meant when Bobby Hemming was like, you have to go back to a childlike mind state. You have to go back to what you identified with before any of that shit happened. That's your identity. That's the first part of your ego. Your ego is in three parts. Your ego is its own trinity. You're your own trinity. Your ego is your trinity. Ooh. The ego is the first trinity that you're going to face. That first head, the first heads of the hydra that you're going to face. Who is the first person that who is your first person that indoctrinated you in all the shit that you got into? You see it every day. Every time someone puts a meme, the first mother, the first person, the first eyes that was the first God that eyes were set upon was your mother. Whether your mother knew it or not, was conscious or not, and it gets even deeper if your mother. And I have a whole fucking story. I had a whole fucking moment to myself when I was thinking like, yo, because I was reading archons can be the archon entities can be your mother, your father, sister's brother. God damn it, one of my fucking own fucking father, my pops was a fucking archon. And I listened to half of the shit that he said, and it never clicked in my head because I was like, that's just dribble. There ain't nobody got nigga ain't doing that shit. Because I was still stuck under that guys of white people were oppressing shit. I'm gonna say that now, then I'm gonna get back into I'm gonna get into ego. See how your ego defends you against shit. Your ego is built, has one purpose and one purpose only. That's to defend you from that's to defend your identity from being destroyed. Your ego has one purpose, and that is to defend your identity, your ID, who you are, from being destroyed. That's your ego's one job. Your super ego or your mortality must stay intact. So your ego must defend that at all costs. So tell the story. I remember when I was little, and this was back before, and I'm eating my chocolate cake because it's cake. I'm eating my cake. But I remember my father, he would always say shit like, we're going to get rid of BET. We're going to get rid of music on television. And my father actually was like, the best way I could explain my father is I imagine if you took the Cosby Show and turned it into a reality special. And what I mean by that is my father was everything. He was everything that was under that. You good. Everything that my father said was under the guise of, and you never really, this is how your ego defends you from shit. That's not possible. This doesn't happen. Impossible. My father, one time that he said one day, and it blew my fucking mind when he said it. It blew my mind when he said it. He was like, yeah, we working on getting rid of BET and rap television and rap on TV because that shit's stupid. And working on music television, MTV not showing music, and VH1 not showing music because we, the baby boomers, don't like that shit. And every time I heard it, like every time I heard my father say certain shit, I was like, these are just ramblings of an old man that doesn't like, just like you get stuck in the aspect like, I don't like rap music now. It was under that aspect of like, all right, cool, you don't like Jay-Z. It's all right, bet. You don't like Jay-Z, you don't like Nelly, you don't like Six, you don't like the nigga where the Band-Aid is. I understand. Cool. Don't hate our music. That was under that generation. Don't hate our music because your parents didn't like your music either. But then I went deeper into it today, and I was like thinking about Bill Cosby, thinking about Oprah, thinking about the boule or the upper echelons black folks, the ones that are those strings in that mold, that method, that mold. And I was like, everything my pops did or said, it was always heavily under symbolism. But felt like but then I thought about it. My pops' ego kept getting tricked because reality kept kicking into him. When your reality is challenged to a certain point, after everything is gone, after you served your purpose at a certain point, you have to renew your contract. With anything that you do, every time you reach to a certain point, you got to renew that contract to where you're at based on what you identified as. So if you identified, so your identity basically, you're at a job. You went to that job, you were in charge of the fries, mopping the floor, fries, okay? You got promoted. Now, the thing that you did before, you were putting the fries in, doing the fries, taking out trash, and then you ain't got to do that no more. They made you supervisor. Now you're over others that have to do it. Now you have to subject yourself or sacrifice aspects of what you did at that level to accept the agreements and terms of the next level. Your ego, basically, in that program, as you shift, is going to be like, all right, cool. In order for us to keep getting this money and keep getting the stuff that we're getting, we have to subject ourselves no longer as being a part of that. So I can't identify with that anymore. Your identity or the childlike side, that childlike, I want it now, I need it now, the childish side of you, that imaginative, you don't see no wrong, you don't see no right, all you see is pleasure in right now. That's the part that you have to get into first. Everything that created that space. I'm right, I've got the notes. That's the part that you have to get into first. But I'm skipping around, but everything's coming back to make sense. So my pops would say things to me and my brother, and he would always say things. He would always say things in parables because he was a devout Catholic. He's a devout Catholic still to this fucking day. But in the aspect, he will always say things like, basically that were Cosby-ish, but for the real world. There was always something that was indoctrinating. Everything he said sounded indoctrinating. And for me being a young, never really connecting to that, my spirit always went against it. No matter what he said, my spirit always went against it. And since he couldn't see me since he couldn't see me, it always disrupted something naturally inside him. We were always naturally at odds. And when you're little and you're trying to look up, this is the father figure in your life, you value because you're identifying with, I'm a child, I'm a son, I'm this. Without this, I wouldn't know this. You still have a need in that aspect. I still had a need. I still needed a roof over my head. I still needed food. This motherfucker paid for the clothes, the food, the lights. He paid for everything in the house, and he constantly repeated this trauma over. He constantly repeated this repetition over and over and over again. I pay the bills, this, and this, this, and this. These are parts of the indoctrination. That's what I was trying to get to. These are the parts of that indoctrination. That's similar to when you were sitting at the house and your mother was like, if I make this, you better eat what's on your plate or you won't get there's no other fucking food, or you better go get a sandwich. Your mother slowly would slide in choices like, you can go make a sandwich, but you have to eat what's on your fucking plate. These are parts of the indoctrination that made your identity and made your ego. So then you grow up. One thing, especially for us as black people, as we'll say black in this context, in that aspect, the one thing that we always heard was, I'm grown. How many mothers said, I'm grown? I'm an adult. You'll understand when you get older, but you never were told anything about understanding when you got older. Sprinkled over that was 16, you can drive. Then you were given certain, this is how these this is how this locking in, you got locked into the program. Then you got told you were 16. When I turned about 16, 15, with like 14 and 15, I could drive. You can get a license. You can get a permit or a license or whatever. 16, okay, so 16, you can drive. 18, you are an adult. 18, you can do this. 18, you can do that. And as long as you're under my roof, you have to listen by my rules. I can't wait till I turn 18. I'm going to go move out. And then, so everything you did was gravitating you towards being an adult, being grown. I got my first job. I got my first hustle. I got my first little bit of money. So so my mom cooked some food. I can come home after work. I can come home from my hustle doing what I was doing. I could come to the fucking house and I could stop by McDonald's, or I could stop by Burger King, Johnny's Burger. I could stop by Taco Bell. I could stop by these other places and go grab me a gordito or whatever the fuck I wanted because I had the money to do it. I had leeway. Got to teach him some more responsibility. Make him pay the light bill. Well, your dad said you got to pay the light bill. Or your dad said you got to pay the light bill. Or your mother said you ain't giving no money for the light bill. Fuck, I got to pay the light bill for it. We never put two and two together. It was like the light bill got to get paid regardless. How was it getting paid before? I was the kid that challenged a lot of shit. I was the kid that challenged a lot of shit. So like, I remember the first time my mom was like, I remember the first time apparently my moms and pops had a conversation, and I was going back and forth to New York. My moms and pops had a conversation about me paying the light bill or giving money to the light bill. And I remember I was in my room. Me and my brother was sitting there, and we were listening to the Wu-Tang album came out. I think a Wu-Tang album came out or something. And we were listening to some new CD. And we had just put all the pictures on our fucking walls of, you remember you used to rip the pictures out of the fucking Source magazine, the Vibe magazine, and put them on the wall. You had, like, me and my brother had East Coast over here, West Coast over here, the South over here. He had his favorites on his side. He was the South. So he had all the Southern rappers on his side. I was exploring up north, so I had all the up north rappers. I was exploring my Afro-Latino heritage, so I was looking at I had all the Hispanic, I had like Fat Joe's on my side and shit. But I remember I was laying in my bed, and my pops walked in. He was like, "You gave your mom the money for the electric bill?" I was like, I didn't know I was supposed to give my mom money for the electric bill. Pops walked out the room, went back in his room, talked to my mom, came back in there. So, when are you gonna give your mom money for the electric bill? I was like, I was never told anything about this. This is when I first learned about the back and forth. What motherfuckers are, you learn the capabilities of niggas and what motherfuckers will actually do to protect themselves, to protect their own egos, unbeknownst to you, because you're a child. You're identifying as a child. So they'll hit you with, I was like, I didn't know anything about that, or I would have did it. Whole argument, he thought I lied, believed his wife. Of course he's gonna believe her over me. Later on, had the conversation with my mom, like, why would you lie? Why did you lie about what you said? She never clearly had an answer. My mother was very passive aggressive, so she never said anything about it. She just would deny or passively not say anything, hoping that it would go away. So that became a part of my identity. Things that I did not want to identify with, I still identify with, because I didn't have an understanding of why the fuck it happened. I just wanted to know what the fuck was going on. These aspects of what you identify with create who you become. This further creates your ego. Now your ego creates a defense against that for later on purposes. So if somebody lies to you now, something's still inside you. This had a resignation. If someone lies to you, if a female were to lie to you, or a man's to lie to you, it's based off something that happened in your childhood trauma why you actually got mad. Why are you getting so upset about it? Man, because it is this and this, because you lied. It's deeper than what you think. We're thinking about surface. Our conscious is on surface. Ego is on surface. So it reflects on everything on surface. Is going to defend everything that programmed it to do so, because that's still in your subconscious. Tell me about your mother. So the things that your mother did, the things that your pops did, the things that the fraternal figures in the maternal and the fraternal figures in your life did, sisters, brothers, family members did, a lot of that damage was done based on what they happened to them in their past, what they defended what their ego only defended them from. That's how deep the ego in the psyche. That's how deep the ego goes. But you still want to be, I still wanted to be the son, because of the definition of what I identified what the son was. I still wanted to be a man, the protector, the provider, the one of knowledge, the one bearing truth, because I identified as that. So when you identify as what you identify as at a certain point in your time, based on how you survived, is detrimental to you walking through that door of death. The shit that you identify with is going to be detrimental in you walking through that door of death. Because all that shit, all those markings on that door, and they do the symbolism, they every time they show you a gate, every time you see a Stargate, all of these symbols that are on these doors, those symbols or those sigils, those are the same programs that you don't even understand the sigils that are happening with you. That's why sigils, that's why signs, that's why the symbols are so prominent. That's why the dollar bill sign is so prominent, because it represents money. To you, unbeknownst to you, it represents money, but it has a deeper meaning. But your ego is only going to defend you. That means money. It doesn't mean anything else. Because if it means anything else, then your ego is not doing its job. If your ego cannot defend against it, then it's not doing its job. Then it has no purpose. Then it has no point. Then you can break into your subconscious. That's breaking into your subconscious. That's what it means by taking in that amount of information, taking in that vast amount of information to break your ego down. Taking in all information to break your ego down. And not allowing the distractions to stop you from doing it. That's how you judge your growth. There's 1,000 books on the ego. One book that I actually love because of how it broke it down. It's a book by, It's a book by Clayton John Anger. Ainger is his last name. It's the ego's code. Understanding the truth behind it. Understand the truth behind your negativity. In the introduction, it clearly states, through I to the one. Through I to the one. The I is your ego. The one is what? The I is who you are, who you identified as. That's who your ego identifies as. The one is the what you actually are. And it goes deep into your sleep. We'll get deep into that tonight. How you live, how you choose to behave in your life, and the actions or non-action you take impacts on your life of others and the world around you, whether you like it or not. As I have learned in my own life, there's always consequences, negative and positive. I'm taking the good and bad out. So I say, whenever I read good and bad, I automatically turn to the negative and positive. Also, when you're reading, whenever you're taking in information for your confirmation, your validation, the knowledge that you have acquired about negative and positive, but in this case, it'd be good and bad. When you see things like good and bad, switch it to negative and positive. It further starves the ego. Everything you should do should be starving and killing your ego. Killing that morality, killing that traditionalism, killing that morality that you used to identify with. There's always going to be consequences or cause and effects. Positive and negative, that are directly or indirectly, that serve or don't serve, affect those around me. The challenge is, as studies have shown, in our mind, we truly only see the immediate impact on our life. The closest to us in our immediate community, generally society focuses on the question and based decisions. Get away from me. Based decision on what it means to me, which makes it easier to dismiss the effect of the actions on those further away I said that in the wrong context. Generally, society focuses on the question and the base decisions on what it means to me, which makes it easier to dismiss the effect of the actions on those further away. As a result, we never hardly or ever actually see the consequences, the impact, or even the benefits our actions have on those people around the world of the physical distance from our own reality, or because of what we say to ourselves. I'm just one person. What harm can I do or help? What harm can I do or help can I give? Consider for the moment the Leatham Brothers, the 158-year-old company run by the former CEO Dick Floyd, collapsed under the weight of the bad investment, sent the tidal wave of panic throughout the global financial system, resulted in billions in government bailouts, nearly collapse of the nation's financial systems. Slow economic growth, high employment, hesitant customers. Do you think Dick Flood of the similar Wall Street bankers thought about the wider impact decisions that we're making? This concept is called the 6 degrees of separation, which suggests that one person is no more than 6 steps away from each person on Earth. It therefore follows our behavior, proactive or reactive, has an effect directly or indirectly on every person on Earth. The six degrees of separation is a theory that everyone is in 6 or fewer steps away, and then he quoted it. When I pause in my life for a moment and look at the world around us, I see so much beauty, so much grace, so much splendor, and so much happiness. But I also see negativity that consumes us and surrounds us every day. Pain, despair, death, destruction, illness, all the reported daily on the television and newspaper. What do I realize? Many others that have contributed into the world. Furthermore, I recognize the small changes and variations of my own behavior can produce a larger beneficial changes and variations in the behavior of others in the long term. I said all of that to say this. Furthermore, going into the aspect of you can't do everything that you think based on that level that you get involved in, that you're identifying with, Black Wall Streets and all the great things that we did, all that shit happened already. Similar to being identified with the older spells or the older programs or the older paradigms, they're now meant to be studied. They're not, you can't reawake, you're not going to rebuild pyramids. I don't want the code to rebuild the pyramids. I don't want the code to rebuild the pyramids. I want to understand the code of how the pyramids were built to better understand me. Everything that you take in should be a study to understand you. Everything is a reflection of you. Everything is a reflection of something that's within you that you need to study. Your ego will constantly defend against you. Nah, that's the oppressor. Nah, that's the oppressor. Nah, niggas ain't shit. Niggas ain't this. Bitches ain't that. This is this. I want this and I want this and I want it now. And I have you stuck on, damn, I want this. Let me go get this. I'm going to do everything I need to do to go get that. While you focused on going to go get that, everything that you actually needed to create something that was better than that is over here, deep inside you. You put all of your focus on something outside of you, and now all your ego understands is defend him to go get that. That's how your ego becomes your own. That's how your ego is your own worst enemy. Because your ego will constantly have you looking outside of yourself for shit that you actually have that's inside of you. So you can go so that's how you'll get stuck. That's how most people, when they're coming into, that's when they're switching from religion, or they think they're switching away from religion, and they come into the African spiritual systems. They just take the word religion and replace it with African spiritual systems. And then, okay, it's the African spiritual system that I need to follow. I need to follow the Orishas. I need the Ifa. I need Ubatala. I need Oya. I need something else to guide me. You're still missing the fucking point. And then your ego is like, yeah, you identify with as a child, so you need something because you're still identifying as the child. You haven't even embraced your inner child to be able to teach your inner child. Your inner child has all the information right there in front of it. That's similar to when you look at the Matrix and the little kid is teaching Neo how to bend the fucking spoon. The key is to see that there is no spoon. But our minds are so programmed, we're so far ahead that we're behind that we can't look at our ego and have us in this false set of pride that if I bow down or I humble myself to not knowing shit, then how will I look to the world? I don't give a shit how I look to the fucking world. You're going to be looked at as an enemy. You're going to be looked at as the devil to somebody else anyway. You're going to be looked at as weird to somebody else anyway. What are you embracing about yourself? Are you standing on your square? Are you standing in your truth? Are you listening to yourself? Ego and life are two separate entities. It's ego and death that have to be looked at. I just had the thought process like the Kemites studied death to understand life, to get to new life. They didn't want to come back in. Your ego would defend everything that's here. So thinking about that, put that thought into your mind to actually reprogram it. Everything here, if I'm defending shit on this level, what am I really feeding? My emotions. So now I become emotionally invested into something outside of myself. You become emotionally invested in Black Lives Matter because you identify with being, I'm a black life, I'm black, I have a life, I matter. You identify with a movement based on it fits something that your ego says that you need. I need money to survive. Damn, the more we spit in the science about becoming sovereign and the straw man and all these things, those are good aspects to study. But if you get stuck on the following it and not studying it, that's when you get stuck. That's how your ego lives. You give your ego new life. You give your ego a whole new identity. Now I'm a Moor. Now I'm a study. Now I'm a Moor, Noble Drew Ali, the straw man, the licensed cattle, all these things. Now you're identifying as that. Now that you identify as that, now your ego to defend everything that's Moorish. Same thing with Kemites. I'm Patah 6'9", this I'm Ra Al Ghul or whatever the fuck you want to be. Instead of understanding to use these guises to hide yourself in plain sight. Submitting, I'm always going to say that, submitting to the attributes of the ideal in order to make your moves. To make you feel comfortable. Your comfort in laughter. They got white kids out. They got Godfrey did a video and white boys out here got do-rags on now. The shit that used to grind my gears and get me up, worked up, no longer even gets to me. I've let alone even hear anybody. I haven't even heard a white person calling me the nigger. Like, I remember when I heard the thing when she said the LA naggers, niggers, whatever the fuck she really said, it didn't fucking matter. All it matters is that a group of Negroes heard it and made her viral. A group of Negroes heard that, put their signature on it. Man, we go, man, that bitch said that shit, man, fuck that bitch. Feed us. So guess what you fed? You fed the archons, you fed those entities that around on that. Whether you did it directly or not, you did it. And that's what they're getting stuck on. That is the battle. That's what it means by spiritual warfare. Some people don't even know that they're in the war, or what the war is, or what the war entails, or what weapons you need to use. Some people are still in that lower ranking shit. I'm gonna go put a hex on them. Let me go get this. I'm gonna put that work on them. Put that hex on them. It takes your energy to do that. Either you're using your own energy as becoming, or you're using your energy serving something. So you serve it. So you serve it to them. I'm gonna serve them this. Fuck you mad at? It's like motherfuckers getting mad that they put cotton up. They put a cotton filter background on Facebook. It's Facebook. What the fuck do you expect that we're gonna do? Who owns Facebook? They think it's funny that they still, if you even think about it, you're getting upset over cotton. That's just like when Cat Williams put up that's like when Cat Williams said motherfuckers were putting nooses on the fucking doors of the fucking professors at that college back in the day. Niggas ain't scared of rope. That's literally like when Cat Williams also said, I'm gonna go put these bullets and spread them on the curb. Who the fuck is that scaring? You put bullets on the curb. The bullet didn't go into anybody. So what the fuck am I scared of? What are you scared of? What are you're identifying with these things that no longer hold any merit or balance. The only thing that fear demonstrates is your lack of understanding of something. Fear and hatred are identifiers of a lack of understanding, or wanting to understand for that matter. So if you identify with, I'm a proud black man, that's like nigga shit. How much stuff do you actually identify with? How much stuff, when you define something or give it definition, you categorize it. Now it's in that block. So what do they say niggas like? They like cars. They like big ass rims. They like big ass chains. Now niggas like choker chains. To each their own. They just put a whole nother definition on what niggas are. What they'll accept now. All they use is this. All that's used are the same distractions based on the same methods, because they can't create any other method. The same thought process behind niggas wearing skinny jeans and neck chokers. That's the new generation or the young generation. That goes against our generation that had the baggy pants and Ghostface had the eagle and the sun pendant. So we look at them like, can't take them niggas serious. But then you go back when your parents looked at you and couldn't take you serious. You didn't take them serious when they had their parents didn't take them serious when they had bell bottoms on. And they fried their fucking hair. They fried their hair, dyed and fried that shit and laid it to the side. It's the same shit in different clothes. Same image. Repeated over and over and over and over again. And you keep getting stuck because you want to identify with something. Your identity. You can't even embrace your true self of what you are because you haven't even got to the state of no self yet. The state of no self is before you became what you identified as. See, you can comfortably walk into a space and identify yourself as a god at all fucking times. You're not doing shit. Until you can step into a space and say that you're a king and you're a queen, and you stepping into that space and you accept all the smoke that comes with being a king, comes with being a queen, comes with being a god, comes with being the supreme being. You ain't doing shit yet because it's still in your subconscious. You still a child in your subconscious. You still a nigga in your subconscious. That's why someone calls you a nigga, you get upset. That's why somebody calls you a bitch, you upset. Because in your mind, somewhere resonated in your subconscious, you still are under the programming of what a bitch is. The old programming of what a bitch is. A spiteful woman, a female dog. Because you ain't open yourself up. Like the first line in the prayer to the to the original witch is old bitch of the dog star. You old bitch of the dog star. So if a nigga calls you an old bitch, he's calling you a witch. Nigga calls you a nigga, we understand nigga, naga, nijas. It means royalty. He's calling you a fucking king. Masculine, feminine, androgynous. So a king can be a queen, king and a queen, where a ruler was shipped as a king in that when that the patriarchal society came up. But if it's not reprogrammed in your subconscious, that shit still gets to you. I know what they meant. You knew what they knew. You don't know what they knew. You didn't know what they know. You knew what they meant based on what they know or what they knew. So they're going to keep using the same old rhetoric based on the fear that if they change anything in their identity, anything that challenges their ego is going to challenge everything about them. So you stuck on what side you going to choose. I'm pro blowing all this shit down. That's, if someone asks me my stances, I'm pro blow this shit down, burn this shit down, destroy all this shit. I'm with the monsters. My mind no longer is in this space. I'm no longer mentally in this space. I'm no longer mentally confined into this space. So where my ego's at now, it defends me from the humanity now. It defends me from human aspects. And that's when you step into the suit. That's when you step into your creative ego or your God self. That's the higher self. That's the creative ego. That's the creative ego. Your creative ego defends you it defends you in creation. So you can create whatever, and it defends anything that stops you from creating. So you have what you identified as, your identity, your ego, what defend what you identify as, and in your mentality that weighs and gives the balance to what you defend and what you identify as. That first trinity, that first prong, that first plug that's plugged into the power source, which is you. So if all these prongs are in place, I really don't have to do shit to you but give you constant distractions. That's how the distractions work. Based on constant repetition through trauma, symbols, and repetition to your identity. Based on you defending from the constant traumas, repetitions, and symbols to your ego that keeps you to your mortality. or your morals or your traditional values, everything that you made traditionally for yourself at that moment in time. These are those little pieces that connect you to what you fuck you are. And then you're going to have those conversations where you can say some profound shit and it sounds perfect. It sounds perfect. It's perfected. You have spoke immense light. But the cognitive dissonance of somebody defending what they identify with, they'll take one line out of whatever you said and they'll take that and take that as whatever, everything that you just fucking said. Oh, that's your stance? No, that's not what I fucking said. That's the perception. Because you challenge their ego. The best thing you can say is you're right and move the fuck on. Practice saying you're right. You're right. You good. You right. And move the fuck on. Because if not, you're going to be sitting there going back and forth with somebody that's still in a lack of understanding or in fear. You're going to go to I'll look for it. Wait. There was also something else I wanted to say out there. Saved it yesterday. Another book, the Nag Hammadi, or Naghammadi, Scriptures Revised in the updated translations of the sacred Gnostic text of the Coptic, of the Gnostic text. There was a piece in here I wanted to put out. This book is by Marvin W. Meyer. The Prayer of the Apostle Paul, The Secret Book of James, The Gospel of Truth, The Book of Thomas. This has all the books in it. Preface. I don't like reading prefaces. They're stupid. Yeah. Go. We'll get that out later. But yeah, your mindset as you're going into your new self or going into your higher self, that's what it means by checking your ego at the door. Opening your eyes as a child. Whenever you hear someone, like whenever you read a text and it says opening your mind as a child, the child's mind is a sponge. You have to allow yourself to be open to all the information. I was listening to a lecture. I was listening to something earlier, and it was a video, and it was it said Kevin Gates and Louis Farrakhan views on God in the aspect. It was Brother Ben X. And that's another thing. Your ability to take in knowledge from everywhere, that requires breaking through your ego. Because if you're not, you're going to be looking at, I don't read any book that I'm not going to read any book that a white man write. I'm not going to listen to anything, man. Martin Luther King was an agent or Farrakhan's an agent. I don't give a fuck what the fuck they were. they still will say some things that are very profound. They'll say tidbits and nuggets of knowledge that if you take it in, you can interpret it for what it actually means based on fuck what the fuck they're saying. Are you listening? Fuck who the person is. Are you listening to what they're saying? Based on their understanding, they said what they said. Now, based on your understanding, what did you interpret? Your identity, that's what your ego does. Your ego will constantly kick out like, nah, that's Farrakhan, don't listen to him. Nah, that's Dr. Umar Johnson, don't listen to him. You won't know how to navigate through certain things. What's been shown in front of you is that's what you're going to face. That is the trial and the tribulation that you're going to face. If something inside of you makes you want to say, yeah, black power, everything, what you just told your ego is like, I defend everything that's against black power. Anything that's going to make us sad. And that's where trauma bonding comes in. We're stuck in a realm that feeds off of everything. I said that last week. We're stuck in a realm that feeds off of everything. That everything feeds off of something. And it feeds based off your emotion. So it creates scenarios that stir up your emotions. So the Gayle King shit stirred up emotions. Because they're still riding that wave. The Kobe Bryant shit, the rape allegation that was dismissed. You can look back and you use critical logic and think, and you're like, that shit got dismissed. So why would she bring that up? There's a reason she brought that up. For emotion. That's basically all they're going to do is stir it up for emotion. They're going to stick their poker in there for emotion on that shit. That's what they do. And then they're going to apologize. Us being black people. Oh, she didn't know what she was doing. To the motherfuckers that are on a certain wavelength, like, nah, fuck that bitch. And to the motherfuckers that are on the higher wavelength, like, yep, she did exactly what she was supposed to do, according to their shit. They give you, their arrogance is always going to be your way out. Their arrogance is always going to be your way out. There's motherfuckers in your life right now that their arrogance at a certain level is your way out of the situation where they're in. If it's not giving you what you need based on spiritual content, then walk the fuck away from it. At this point in time, if it's not feeding you on the spiritual level, walk the fuck away from it. Nothing else matters outside of that. If it's not feeding you on that spiritual level, walk away from it. We can get so bogged down on, oh my God, mothers and Sandra Bland. This is how these programs work. I just started posting about Trayvon Martin would have been 25 today. If you tap into that on an emotional level, that's the same thing as doing 9/11. Every time they do 9/11, never forget. That ritual is still intact. They still can pull power from that because it's stifled in Negroes' minds. It's still stifled in humanity's mind as a collective at that level. So they can show you Sandra Bland's birthday was today. Okay. I never knew her personally. So that's something, oh, it's her birthday today. All right, cool. But if you're still identifying with it's fucked up what they do to us in this, it's fucked up what they do to us in America, and we're being oppressed every single day. We can't do anything every single day. All you're going to focus on naturally is the negative. When you program your mind on negative shit, all you see is negative shit. When you program your mind in negative shit, all you see is negative shit. All you're going to see is the negative. I don't care if something positive happens. A negative person, even if $1 million fucking dollars. You win $1 million fucking dollars. There's that one negative person said, what you gonna do about your moms? Your mom's struggling. You got $1 million, but your mama's struggling. There's always gonna be that negative entity. This is how you start. And once you start understanding the program and understanding the entities and understanding this energy at this level, you're able to actually start breaking down what's around you and personally around in your circle. That one person that's always negative, why are they always negative? You start understanding like, why? And then you start really saying like, why? Wait. Why are you always negative? It's deeper. No matter what you do, they're always going to say something negative. No matter what you do, there's always going to be that motherfucker that's going to call. There's always going to be that dude that's in your crew that's always going to call girls, females, bitches. There's always going to be that chick in every girl's fucking crew that's always going to call niggas ain't shit. I need me a white man. I need me. Give me some. Man, Becky give head. Becky makes sure my food cooked and all this shit. Okay, they're still stuck on lower vibrational bullshit. They still identify with being, I'm a man in America. I've been a retired American for about, I'll say about 8 years now. I've been a retired American. Because I no longer partake of the things that Americans do. According to that definition. According to the true definition of what I researched and validated. The original origins of how America was, how this America, this corporation was created. So I don't identify with being an American. So I'm not American by default. You have to put yourself into a mindset where you're not these things by default. What you're identifying with are still part of these programs. I'm a black man in America. Nah, that's not me. Because that means I'll have to subject myself to everything negative and positive on that level. This is how you step out of the light into your darkness to create your own light. I can't be an American anymore. It don't make no fucking sense. This gets into the aspect of understanding the child. And we're gonna get into the child. You identifying with, I want this and I want it now, and I'm gonna get what I want. If I don't get what I want, I'm gonna go work for it. I'm gonna go grind for it. That's a nice thought. But what are you subjecting yourself to what you're getting? Remember how I said before, doing what you want and doing what you can are two different aspects. I do what I want. Wholeheartedly, I stand by saying that. I stand by that. The negative, and because I'm willing to stand by the negative and the positive and the cause and effect and the consequences of me saying that line. Because I understand and I can validate and I validate and confirm everything that stands behind me saying I do what the fuck I want. What up, bro? You have to put yourself as what you identified as. I no longer identify with the things that made me humanity because it doesn't fit the paradigm of where I'm going. That is a hard ass pill for a lot of people to swallow, is getting rid of everything that you gained from something else. Everything that made you ain't you on this higher level. Everything that you think makes you has you stuck in some way, shape, or form. That is what is oppressing you. Everything that you thought all the nigga shit that you identify with, all the niggatry, is what identify with you is what is going to oppress you because you want more of it. Your lack of understanding of why you did it in the first place. Your lack of understanding what you were in that outlet to yourself, to your true self. There was a time back, I remember like, I was laughing at my barber the other day. I was laughing at my barber the other day. I was actually laughing at my barber today. And he said some funny shit. He was like, I remember when I went and got all, he said, I remember when I got all the Rockaware and then Jay-Z changed the symbol to the rock sign. I was like, damn, I done bought all these fucking clothes for nothing. You'll sit here your entire life and go get all this shit because it looks nice. You'll go grab that big screen TV. You'll go grab the latest video. You'll go grab the latest game console. You'll go grab the latest fucking Jordans. You'll go grab the latest fucking Forces. You'll go grab the latest fucking hats. You'll go grab the latest fucking chain, the latest fucking anything that has no value once you put it on. It has as much value as you value in yourself. But since your value system is backwards, since our value system has been taught to us backwards, has been given to us backwards, everything comes to you backwards anyway when you look at it. Since that hits on that level of that line to yourself, to your mind, to your mentality, where you're going with yourself, every single time that you do something, that's what you put your value in. So you evoke your value into something outside of you that has no fucking value. Yo, man, I gotta go get that new Cuban. I gotta get that Cuban link on my neck, man. That link. Gotta get that link so I can get them bitches. All right. Cool. That's great. That's great. But what are you really doing with it after you have it? You just subjected yourself to a whole nother set of fucking trials. Are you willing? That's similar to 10%. If you don't have 10% of whatever you buy in the bank, why would you go buy it? Because it's not, just like it's not the product, it's the service. That same mentality and that mental should go into everything that you do into your life. So if I see $1 million, if I see a car, if I see they got a Wraith up the street for sale, they finally dropped the Wraith and they got the Wraith in. Wraith is at top, all with everything on it, it's about $568,000. If I don't have 10% of that times 3 in my bank account, why the fuck would I go get it? Just to say I have a Wraith? Niggas do nigga shit. This is the tax season for most niggas right now. Niggas are gonna go put $5,000 down on a fucking 2010 BMW. They got 678,000 miles on it and drive that bitch for 3 months before it needs to have work done to it. Then they gonna go to the neighborhood mechanic to go get something done to it that motherfucker ain't never worked on before, to go get the car worked on, and it's gonna void anything that because you didn't purchase the warranty that went with that car. You didn't invest because all you saw was face value. Your ego works on face value alone, and it only defends face value shit. That's what your ego defends. Your face value. Man, I ain't gonna put that on, man, because them motherfuckers gonna think I'm a squid. I ain't gonna put this on because this is motherfuckers gonna think this. I gotta go get the bundles. Nigga shit. Most motherfuckers getting stuck on nigga shit. I just saw on Facebook when apparently this new shit is like only my fan shit, and I clicked on it, I was like, only for fans. Because I didn't know what the fuck that shit was. I got one of those shits in my fucking DM today. Only for fans. And it's where basically you can subscribe to naked photos of your favorite Instagram bitches. Monthly subscription to rent pussy pictures. Nigga shit. We get stuck on this identifying off nigga shit. One image versus another image. I want you to see me this way, but I don't need you to see me this way. Putting value in things outside of you that really don't even hold any fucking value. Putting yourself in a mentality that really holds no fucking value. The only thing valuable is the knowledge. Only thing valuable is the knowledge. So if only thing valuable is the knowledge, the only thing that is abundant is the knowledge, the only thing that's prosperous is the knowledge, you understand that it's a mindset. So that job you want, that car you desire, those things that you desire, they're a mindset. And I teach the simple spells of that to where you write some shit down on a piece of paper and you write paid next to it, or you write the date next to it. You don't write the date, you write the month, you write the amount and paid next to it. And then you read that and you write that shit down every single day. You can write it down every single day, or you can put it in a space where you can read it every single day. The manifestation period, that's a way of reprogramming the subconscious. But if you can't do that basic shit, motherfuckers can't even basically do certain basic fucking principles or certain disciplines to even get themselves anywhere. Because it's easier to do the latter. It's easier to blame somebody else on some other shit. Me being a fucking health nutritionist, and someone tells me, yo, I have a problem with my body, there's something sick inside of me, how do I fix it? You can fast. What you mean by fast? Drink only water for about 30 days. You mean I can't have chicken wings? I can't have no bacon? I can't have this, I can't have that? You automatically equate everything that's positive that you have to take away as negative. So then you sitting there like, oh my God, I can't do that. Okay. Then don't ask me any other question, because I'm going to give you the same exact answer. What do you do? Oh, I already did that part. So what are you doing now? Oh, I take this. I do this supplement. I use this supplement. I do this. I drink water. I do this. Why can't I just do that? Because you got to reset yourself. Everything requires fucking resetting yourself. You are not going to be able to come to this level or any level without first resetting yourself, without first tapping into those places that you don't want to tap into. Motherfuckers get motherfucking dumbfounded. What you mean it was back there? And that, yeah, that shit that you wanted to forget, that's where that shit is. That shit that you used to identify with back then, at that point, that shit carried off from there. Where you're at now is based off of what you identify with now is based off of a trauma from your past. How you move, how you walk, how you talk, how you orchestrate your life every single day, how you want attention, how you miss, how you love, how you hate, how you learn, how you teach, how everything that you do at this moment in time is based off of a trauma that you created the identity that is you now. I can give you the method, but if you ain't willing to even open your mind to a method, oh, that seems easy enough. All right, now we got to go deeper. Now that you disciplined yourself enough in the meditation, this is the next phase. What you mean that's the next phase? Now that you disciplined yourself enough in this, the meditation didn't do anything. Yeah, it did. The meditation forced your ass to sit the fuck down. That's what I needed the meditation to do. The candle work, understanding candles and reading this, that got you to this point. What book I got to read? You can't be looking at these books like they sell. You can't be looking at the book like it's the motherfucking Bible. You still got religion inside of you. Nah, fuck Jesus. Nah, you still got religion inside of you. Religion is not Jesus. Religion is not Allah. Religion is a binding. It bounded you. So your love of chicken wings, your love of chicken wings, your love of chicken wings. Everybody want to comment on shit. Your love of chicken wings. Your love of high heel shoes. Your love, or actually your lust, or whatever it may be. This nigga just tapped himself. Okay. I guess that's what motherfuckers do nowadays. Your love or your actual lust of something, that is what your ego is defending you against. Man, I can't give up meat. I need meat. Why do you need meat? Because I read this book where it said men need meat. All right. But if I give you the motherfucking text that says meat causes acid, causes mucus causes blockages, that's why your ass is blockages. It's more than just the blockages in your fucking erectile dysfunction. That's why your ass is going fucking bald when you're fucking 20. Motherfuckers in their late 20s are going fucking bald now. Nah, man, that's genetics. It's not fucking genetics. You got to get out of the mindset of what the fuck motherfuckers telling you what they told you was genetics. No, it's not genetics. What you're eating is the genetics. What you're eating, what you are taking in, what you are digesting is shifting your shift the genetics, the genetic code of yourself. Ooh, shit. And it makes you cattle. That's why motherfuckers are cattle right now. Because you want to be one thing or the other. You don't want to, you can't embrace your true higher self because you're still bogged down with what your mom is going to think. My mom identified me. She said I was a good kid. So I'm good. As long as my mom thinks I'm okay, I'm all right. As long as I'm good, and then you got motherfuckers. As long as I'm good in the eyes of the Lord, nobody can judge me. I can do whatever the fuck I want. You got to accept, once you open up one door, once you open up a door, you must accept everything that comes at that level. So for you to sit here and say, only God can judge me, God will forgive me, fuck everybody else. That rapist that you don't, so what about the rapist? Shh, we don't talk about that in the family. These are the things that you identify with, so these are the things that keep coming up in your fucking life as markers. That's why the shit keep coming up and resonating, hurting your fucking feelings. That's how it hurts your feelings. That uncle that kept coming into your fucking room at night, that relative that kept coming over, that you never like going over to their house, because every time you come back to the house, your mom always thought you were always acting weird every time you left from over there because you never talked about it. These are the types of things that you identify with. These created your identity now. And until you deal with the things that created your identity of what you resonate with now, you're going to keep doing the same exact shit or finding different ways to hide away from the shit. I want the TV. I want all these shiny things so that it makes me feel pretty. All right, bet. Now you got all these shiny things making your ass look fucking pretty. But on the inside, you're ugly as fuck. And then you fall for a distraction. Now you angry. What's the source of your anger? Why does that make you so upset? What was the first lie that was ever told to you? That's where it began. Who's the first person that wronged you? Not knowingly, unknowingly. These are those aspects that created your ego. These are the aspects that create your fucking ego. Get your ass locked the fuck in. What you were, what you are, is powering who you are. And who you are mentally is the only thing that they can attack. They only can attack who you think you are. They only can use who you think you are. If you're not working on it, somebody else will. If you're not using that shit, somebody else will. The more shit that you keep in, the more shit that you do not shed light on into yourself, those are the elements that can be used against you, because now they can hide behind that. That's the whole premise behind no enemy within, no enemy with outside of me, because there's no enemy within me. There's no enemy within me. Very little. Very, very, very little. Which last week was my chaos rites training initiation, where the spirit was like, yeah, this is the shit you're going to have to go through next. Go ahead and take another one away from you. Let's see how strong you are when it happens. Passed it. Did the whole crossover ritual. Passed that shit with flying colors. I was excited that I passed it. That's why my fucking shit shutting off, because I got this tight ass fucking man around my neck. All this shit another good book to look into. Because that's not the book. 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 Another good book when you're doing your shadow work that's good on basing onto your ego. Oh shit. It went right to the page I needed to go to. For Freud, psychology. Freud, description of the mechanism of the condensation in dreams can account for the overdetermination or the multiple possible meanings of dream content. The overdetermination in the mimesis play somewhat different into the benefit group of the process. Instead of a patient and analyst relying on the interpretation of the construction of the possible meanings of the dream content, in a mimesis play, an entire group of participants, deliberates, and initiates. Those aspects have resonance with them personally. Instead of the mechanism for condensation, which may disguise and latent meaning of a dream, the image in a myth invoke multiplicity of meanings, interpretations, and an entire group of participants, which are available for assimilation or rejection by the participants. The idea of facing frightening parts of the physically wounded partner as a path towards healing, a powerful demonstrated in the story of the Crescent Moon Bear from Clarissa Planocca's estate's book, Women Who Run with Wolves. In this story, we also see a soldier who has returned from war who refuses to re-enter his house. His wife, excited and happy to have him back, prepares a feast and brings it out to the forest for him. However, when the offering is made, he springs up, kicks the food away, and screams, "Leave me alone." We see that the transition home will not be so easy. When the wife, frightened, now visits a healer for help, she is told to get a hair from the throat of the crescent moon bear that lives at the top of the mountain. Because she is a woman whose loves she gratefully that she can be done and sets out. She overcomes any obstacle when she finds the bear, offers the food, and very slowly draws closer and closer to his den. When the bear rears up and seems about to make a meal of her, though shakingly fiercely, she stands her ground and asks for the hair from the bear's white crescent moon patch. The bear takes pity on her and grants her request, and she scurries back down the mountain to bring down the hair to the healer. The healer inspects the hair upon her arrival and declares it to be genuine. And for dismay of the wife, promptly throws it into the fire. When the wife becomes terribly upset, she is asked to calm down and is told that all is well. She is to take into the lessons she has learned from the approaching bear, applied to her husband. This is all about mythos. Basically, what you're going to face in that emotional structure to yourself and getting into your psyche is going to be some of the hardest. Is going to be based on the fear aspect that you put there to defend against it. The things that you're going to have to face in defeating your ego and destroying your ego are based on what you identify with in the first place. The things that created your identity. So if I sit here in a motherfucking aspect of looking into myself like, oh my God, I can't do this, then you can't do it. It's easy to be human. It's easy. Accept the rules of this level. And move on. But to go into something more is going to require an entirely different mindset. It's going to require a whole different set of rules. because you're coming from a whole entirely different place. Fix my hair real quick. The black man structure identity, the black woman structure identity, the soldier identity that motherfuckers want to put you in, the wounded woman, the hurt, the scarred woman, the hurt woman, all these motherfucking aspects. Those are the things that you're going to battle against. These are the things that you will battle against. The things that were made so prominently to be, that were given this great image, those are the things that are being fed on. Being the black man in America is so hard, and you don't understand the struggles that we go through. In order for you to stay a black man, guess what you got to do? You got to keep going through those struggles. In order to be the strong black woman, you got to keep going through the shit that you defined as a strong black woman. That's ego. That's ego's defense. That's what ego is going to defend. Your ego defends everything that you define in your identity. So once you change what you identify as, and you learn what you are now identifying as, your ego will now switch into defending that. And when you go higher, you'll have to defend against that. That's what your ego defends against. Shedding light onto your life. The shit that you identify with, so identifying as black power, in order for that to continue, your ego is going to defend everything that's black power. Economic plans, oppressors. You're always going to be oppressed because you're identifying as something that's lower than you. That's the whole key aspect of it. As long as you're defending something that's lower than you, as long as you are identifying as something that's lower than yourself, your ego will always stay intact. As long as you're identifying with, I deserve attention and love, and you're not giving yourself love and fucking attention, or you're not going about understanding what is there to value about you, what is there to love about you, that shit will continue to eat at you. That's the shit that's going to make you upset. And you're going to constantly look outwards for something to validate you. So then you're going to meet people that are going to challenge that in every single fucking way. I'm one of those challengers. I love challenging that. I challenge ego at every fucking moment because that's my job. That's my purpose. I'm the one that challenges ego. Those little rules that you put up for yourself to defend yourself, to keep your ass locked off from fucking certain shit, it's not in the aspect of actually doing it. It's being open to the information. There's motherfuckers that I'm not going to do a threesome. I'm not doing polygamy. I'm not doing none of that shit. That's just that's fucking late. That's niggas. Why? If a nigga can't be good with all me and value me and love me, then what the fuck? Then he ain't the man for me. It isn't the aspect of you sitting there saying, oh my God, you're accepting polygamy, you're going to be a polygamist. It's understanding the terms, it's undertaking in that knowledge so you have so you widen your fucking mental. Because if you hate it, it becomes a barrier. If you fear it and you hate it, it becomes a barrier. Why do you think white people are in your face right now? The biggest reflection for black people right now is white people oppressing them. Why the fuck does that matter? In that same sense, your ego, this is how you know your ego is not yours. Your ego defends it. See, there's some good white people over there. Man, that white man gave me a car. Or that white man gave me a job. That white man's my landlord. See how your ego defended it? So not all white people are bad. Not all white people are good. Not all white people are bad. Not all niggas ain't shit. You talk yourself back the fuck down. Because you don't have the confidence to stand by what the fuck you need to stand by. Because you still feel like you need something from that. I need that attention. Because I know what to do with that attention. Whether it's negative or positive. I know what to do with that. I know what to do. I know how to move. I know how to maneuver in that space. I can control that. I can't control those niggas over there. I can't control. I don't have no control over there because I can't control myself. When a motherfucker says they don't trust, when you say you don't trust something, it's because there's something inside of you that you don't trust. When you say you can't stand something, it's something inside you that you can't stand. They resonate with something that you shut the fuck off. How can they get the car and this and everything comes so easy to them? I hate them because some must be nice. These are triggers to traumas to connect to you. Oh my God, I can't stand them niggas over there, man. Them niggas over there, I can't stand them. Must be nice. They over there balling, doing all that shit. Your lack of understanding of something inside of you, for them to willing to do anything that it takes, you ain't willing to do anything that it fucking takes. That's what the fucking basically boils down to. If you really truly want something, you really truly desire something, if you're not willing to do anything for it, then you don't desire it. You don't deserve it. You don't have value in it. Based on whatever the fuck it is. And this is based on negative and positive. This ain't based on good and bad. This is based on negative and positive. So if you want that nigga, you want that archetype of a person in your life, you must either subject to what the fuck that person is, or you go on this side and do it yourself. Dual meaning, because that means for you. Your lower self is willing to settle for shit. Do shit, settle for shit, do dumbass shit for that shit. Your higher self would never do that shit. I would never do that. I would never do that. I would never subject myself to that. Okay. That's why you stuck where the fuck you at. Because something outside of you is willing to do something that you're not willing to do. That goes into eating fucking food. I say this shit all the fucking time. If you had to go outside and go kill the fucking cow yourself, would you do it? If you had to go outside and kill the fucking cow yourself, would you do it? Kill the chicken, kill the cow. Some motherfuckers is country as hell and they've been around that shit, so they'll do it. But for most people, you'll go to the supermarket and buy a pack of chicken. You'll go buy eggs. You can go easily go buy it. But if you couldn't go buy it and you had to go out and kill it yourself, would you do it? So what are you identifying yourself with? Most people identify themselves with servants and don't even realize they identify themselves as servants. You identify as a servant, so everything around you becomes a servant. Everything serves a purpose because you're a servant. All servants serve a purpose. These are those aspects to understanding yourself and what you identify as. I don't identify myself with none of this human shit. I try not to identify with none of the human shit as much as I can. So the things that are based on humanity goes that fucking deep. That's what it means about your morality and your traditions. All the traditionalism. We celebrate the Christmas for the kids. Because you identify with something. They won't understand it. That's why you're telling yourself fucking lies. You lie to yourself, i.e. everything lies to you. I hate liars. You lie to yourself every time you look at the fucking television. You lie to yourself every time you wake up in the morning, you put on your face. I can't go outside without my face on. You lie to yourself every fucking day. So then you get upset when something outside of you lies? The reason that you hate liars on one level is because something lied to you back in the day is because you're steady lying to yourself. If something goes outside of that door that you have no control over, you fall victim to whatever it was that you didn't heal is going to come back up. This happened to me before. It don't matter how different. It don't matter how different or how mentally. It don't matter how mentally different a motherfucker is. If you haven't healed yourself, this is some real shit. If you haven't healed yourself from some past shit, some traumas in your life, that shit bleeds out through everything that you do in your fucking day to day. You will find yourself subjecting or serving out your trauma. And you think you're doing positive shit. I do this and I do this and I do this. What if you don't do none of the shit that you think you need to do? Will it still be there? You walk into your fucking house and you identify with you a good woman. You identify yourself as a queen, and the definition that you put for a good queen, and this person still goes do what they're doing. Because what you identify with is not what they identify with and what they needed. That's the transparency. You're getting stuck in morality and traditions. Because you were taught or you saw this is how motherfuckers kept their fucking man for fucking years. Because you didn't see the other half of the fucking story. So your ego can only defend against what it knows. Anything outside of that, it can't defend. It shuts down. That's why you get angry. This is how emotions kick in. This is how emotions work. Your unknown, or what you refuse to understand, rather, is what stirs your emotion. And then you bite down and you want to have control of it. I need to have control of this. I need to have control of that. I need to have control of that. You become the narcissist. You become the manipulator. You become the user. Stockholm syndrome. You become the oppressor. based on your lack of understanding of what it was oppressing, instead of further understanding yourself. Pressure. I put pressure on you. You put pressure on somebody else because your mother put pressure on you. Your father put pressure on you to do something. Your family put pressure on you to go to college. Your parents put pressure on you to go do this, that, and the third, in hopes that you don't be a fuck up. And that shit's in your fucking psyche. I don't want to be a fuck up. I don't want to be a fuck up. I don't want to be a fuck up. That shit's in your fucking psyche. I don't want to be nothing like my mother. That shit's in your psyche. I don't want to be nothing like my pops. That shit's in your psyche. I don't want to be nothing. Fuck my aunt. Fuck my crackhead aunt. Fuck my crackhead uncle. That's in your psyche. But since you don't understand what created that part, since you don't understand what triggered that trauma in them, you won't understand when that shit triggers in you. Because all you identify with is I'm better. So your ego, you look at your surroundings and say, I'm in better surroundings than them. Because you're basing it off your surroundings. I got the nice car, I got the job, I got the clothes, I got this, I got all this shit. And that shit ain't got nothing to do with anything. Materialism is the vex to fucking spirituality. I'm not saying you should, I'm not saying don't go for it, but don't base your whole life off of items, off these material shits. If I can't get what I want, then I'm gonna get upset. I'm gonna feel some type of fucking way. Fuck cares. At the end of the fucking day, it doesn't fucking matter. That's what has your ass distracted now. Because you're basing your entire life off of an image that can help you sleep at night. You basing your whole shit off of a fucking image. Because you read your horoscope. It's deeper than your fucking horoscope. That's the cipher that you got stuck in. Do you understand now? Like, motherfuckers don't even understand. Like, since you don't truly understand yourself, you celebrate. Whenever you celebrate, I said this earlier, whatever you celebrate or put light on, because I'm using celebrate in the context of you put light on it, that's what you become. That's what you want to be. That's what you hold yourself in. There's two different types of psyches that I usually go into when I start breaking people, when I do the consultations with people. There's two different types of psyches that I mainly go into. There's the neurotic psyche, and then there's the psychotic psyche. As soon as this shit, let me load that shit back up. All right, cool. Here. There's two different types of psyches. The neurotic psyche is your super ego and your morality. Basically, what it boils down to it says, listen up, I'm in charge and you're not. You're not here to enjoy yourselves. Get ready for a double-sized portion of anxiety with a side of order of guilt. A neurotic psyche will have everything that you do. A neurotic psyche is basically the binding or the religious psyche. Anything that you have a feeling on that you want to explore, that brings fun, or brings joy, or brings enlightenment. Anything that brings enlightenment, you'll feel guilty over. Anything that you want to explore, that's why they separate. That's when people, that's why the separation of exploring anything, basically when you read Gnostic texts, human thought is a neurotic psyche by itself, because it leaves you the void of actually exploring your sexuality, your energy, your power, understanding yourself. You'll feel guilty for it because it goes against the normal programming or the morality or the humanity of yourself. Another fun fact about your ID, your identity, besides its presence from birth, animalistic and childlike desires, and has no values. Operates on pleasure principle and to gain pleasure to avoid pain. Immediate satisfaction, I want it right now. It only exists in the unconscious mind, the subconscious. Your subconscious naturally takes in everything. It takes in everything naturally. It's been taking in everything naturally since you came through. When you're in your lower chakra system, I explained that in the shadow work lecture. When you're in your lower chakra system, the animalistic, those childish desires, you want it now. Everything is based on that. So then you go into the psychotic psyche: sex, food, drink, and drugs. Most of the dead and most of these motherfuckers around here, when you listen to the tone of music, sex, food, drinking, and drugs. So you created an environment that is full of physical pleasure, emotional food, drowning out by drinking and drowning out by drugs. You have a psychotic psyche. If that's all you value in life is sex, food, drink, and drugs, getting high, basically getting high, altering your state of consciousness, feeding yourself fucking stupid, and physical pleasure, that's a psychotic psyche. That shit ain't fucking normal. So you seeing these motherfuckers around here like, whoa, let's get drunk, whoa. That's their psyche naturally. That goes deeper into, when I tell you, like, take the aspect of understanding that you took everything that you, imagine taking everything that you hated about yourself and you did not deem godlike and cast it down. Take everything that you deemed that was not godlike and cast it down. That's where you have the reflection of what it is right now in front of you. The white man. The white man. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Whoa! That bullshit. Psychotic psyche. Until you understand your own psyche, until you can identify your own ego, your own self, you don't understand the psychotic psyche. That's what that fucking shit's there for you to understand. The reason that shit resonates with you. At this level that's needed, that comes the counterbalance. That's why religious folks say what they say. Because it goes against everything that they stand for. That's what it boils down into. The psychotic psyche. They have a neurotic psyche. So you have two different psyches. These are the two sides that you choose from. synonymous to the two sides. One's neurotic and one's psychotic. Neurotic, psychotic. Neurotic and psychotic. Two different sides. Two sides to one whole. You understand both of those, you understand yourself more and understand your position. You understand why you need to move, how you need to move. You understand why motherfuckers stand so hard against certain shit. Then you understand why a motherfucker will say some shit to you and defend that shit to the fucking core because they want you to feel extreme pressure and guilt. They need you to feel that guilt. They need you to feel that pressure. They need you to feel that shit. Because if you don't, then what the fuck is their purpose? They need something to feed from. That's what I was talking about with the... So when you look at in your family, and we go close, because we got to cut close to home. When you're looking at your family members, that you have the uppity side of your family, then you got the low down dirty side of your family. One is based off of neurotic psyche, and one is based off of the psychotic psyche. You had fun with the motherfuckers that were doing the psychotic shit because you identify with, yo, that's what freedom is. But they're not free at all at this level in true reality. It's not godlike in the understanding of what it is because it's only on surface. They're defending a feeling. They don't embrace anything outside of the feeling. All they do is defend the feeling. Shit. Oof. Move around a lot. These aspects of yourself into your highest self require you identifying with these aspects. Because if you don't identify with these aspects, you're not taking any, this what it means by doing your shadow work. These are the things that you uncover and understanding as you do your shadow work. Shadow work is more than just looking at, my mom was a drinker, my dad was on drugs, they had me. I always wonder why my Sega Genesis was always never in the house. I wonder why my friends never could come over. And then your ego defends like, this is why your friends couldn't come over. Because they were controlling. In their mind, they did right by, it wasn't controlling in their eyes. And since you didn't understand what the fuck it was, now you strayed away from it, now you're getting lost. That same shit that you got scared of, that you identify with as never wanting to do, that's the other habit of shit that you need to understand about yourself. In your mind, you identified yourself as being grown. In your mind, you identify with being grown. You're still growing. Stifling yourself by saying that you're grown. I'm going to get what I want. I get what I want. I do what I want. All these aspects, you're shutting yourself down. Because the minute you don't get what you want, you lose your fucking mind. Like a fucking child. The identity crisis. In this state, motherfuckers are going through an identity crisis. But if I let go of being a black man, or I let go of being a black woman, or I let go of being this, and this, then what the fuck am I? I don't know. What the fuck are you? If you don't know what the fuck you are, you can be reprogrammed to do anything. I can program you to be another statistic. That's the programmer. You get programmed into being you get programmed into being a statistic based on this lower level human shit. I mean, need to let go of that shit. All right, now I feel better. Lower level human shit. The shit in your root chakra, the shit in your sacral chakra, the shit in your solar plexus. Ain't nothing coming from your fucking heart. Your lack of understanding, your lack of wanting to get that lack of growth, the distractions, the anger, your emotions, energy that's in motion that you have no control over. All this is based on your ego. So in the aspect when I say kill your ego, I mean kill the part of your ego that lacks your wants, your control of it. You'll be sitting there dumb. One thing that motherfuckers think with your ego locks you into is being perfect. Ego locks you into being perfect. Perfection is the ultimate insecurity. Perfection is insecurity. Perfection is insecurity. I don't strive to be perfect at all. If I strive to be perfect, that means there's an insecurity within me that I need to work on. Now, ego feeds off of insecurity. Your insecurity is the need to be perfect or something that you find that is a flaw within yourself that I can't do that. I can't tap into that. That's not me. I don't want to look past that. And yeah, of course you putting on fucking masks. Then you sitting there, I gotta put on the bet. This is why niggas do nigga shit. You'll sit there and kill yourself over some fucking shoes. To fit in a pair. You will kill yourself to fit in a pair of fucking pants. You'll kill yourself to fit in a certain shirt. Perfection is death, so it locks you into something. This makes me feel pretty So you'll spend 19 fucking hours. You'll spend 8 fucking hours trying to squeeze yourself into a fucking waist trainer just to have the image that you look better than you actually do, but you sick inside. Because you don't want to be identified as the, oh, I'm the, yeah. Because you're identifying yourself with shit that's not even you. That's not you. What you were, what you stood to be, what you stood for is only defense of something that you don't want to look at. That's why in the back of your mind, you keep certain people around you just to say you're better than them. You don't even say it consciously. You say this unconsciously by keeping certain people around you. Becoming the smartest dumb motherfucker in the room. If no one around you challenges you, then what the fuck are you? If nothing around you can challenge you, what the fuck are you? If it doesn't challenge me, I don't want it around me. If it doesn't challenge me to go higher within myself, I don't want it around me. If it only challenges you on lower level shit, then that's part of your issue. I don't even hate to say it, it's the fucking truth. If it's not challenging me in an aspect, by nature, my own mind shifts me away from it. My own mind will shift me away from it. That's how my ego works. My ego now works for me. It's dead. So I have full control over it. My psyche naturally, by the act of telekinesis, by telepath, by my psychic abilities, will take me out of places that I don't want to be. It will remove me from a space that I don't need to be at for me to operate in higher realms. That's higher level energy. That's a higher level aspect of it. When you start doing it naturally in your mental, creating that scenario, your sight, when you tap into your higher self naturally does it for you. So you create your avatar to do such. Man, but I never could do that, man. That's nice. If it does not push you mentally, it may not be because it can't. It just isn't supposed to. That's not what it was meant for. This is one thing that a lot of people get, that locked into this personal aspect of it, and your ego start creating scenarios of, well, if they don't do this, then they don't do this, then they don't love you, or they don't care about you, or this, and this. That may not be the fucking case. That's not the fucking case at all. What happens is your own psyche will start defending itself from anything that is going to lower your vibration. You'll get physically sick. Your anxiety will kick in. All these little aspects and triggers that happen inside of your body, once you start understanding parts of your fucking body, naturally kick in. You need to rest and reflect. This week alone, my body shut down. So my spiritual self can move around freely. So my body submitted to the attributes of sickness for my spiritual self to heal. Because the week before, remember, I went through the things with my aunt. I needed a lot of clarity. I wasn't going to get that clarity. What I identified with first at dealing with things and back in the day when I was younger, my younger self, my older self, jump into work, dive into work, dive into this, dive into something else to take my mind off of it. My body I'm not allowed to do that anymore. So my body literally shut down like, nah, you'll still be able to eat, you'll still be able to taste shit, you're all right. But I don't need you moving. This whole week, the last 2 weeks, I haven't been here. I came back this morning a little bit. Yeah, I came back last night. Just be looking at the aspects of time. I came back last night. And a lot of things came into clarity. A lot of shit came into clarity. A lot of things I no longer identify with. I just don't. My old ego would have been like, yo, you ain't shit. But my higher self is like, no, it is what it is. You don't identify with these things anymore. I'm not possessed to have certain thought processes or ideas or be around certain things or around certain people or certain entities anymore. They no longer serve a purpose for me. That's the ego being fully fucking tripped. Whole program tripped. It no longer exists. What that allows, I see things for how the fuck they actually are. I see things for how they actually are. I see them for their purpose. Does it serve me? Does it not serve me? Negative or positive? Seeing both sides of that coin. I can say things that need to be said, but I don't have to take as much time in the aspect of explaining it because it's said exactly as it needs to be said. I've grown past that level. What does that mean for people that are around me? That's up to them, not to me. You get to this mindset and the clarity and understanding shifts. You're going to get to that mindset where everything's going to shift into exactly what it is. You see things for exactly what the fuck they are. You can't put no more into it to change shit. You reaching that crossroads and that apex. That's what this shit is. This shit is coming to a fucking head. Full moon coming in Leo. Shit. This is a releasing phase. This is a tie cutting phase. Everything ain't going into, this is more going into the fact that more stuff is not going to come with you where you want it to go. Are you willing? So basically, what sacrifices are you willing to tap into? Waiting on something, putting your mindset on waiting on something more, or if I have one more day, or if I have this, then I'll do this next. You're always going to need something. There's always going to be a problem. There's always going to be a bill. You're always going to be, I'm going to need, I need more time to do this. And then I'll start it next week. Or I'm going to do this and then I'll get this tomorrow. Those aspects, they no longer exist. As you're breaking away from this time aspect or this constraint of time aspect, you realize that shit doesn't even fucking matter. It doesn't. It's either you're going to step up to that or you're not going to step up to it at all. It's either you're going to walk through that or you're not going to walk through it at all. One or two sides. The gray area is naturally you. You're that gray area in that path. Your decisions are based on the knowledge that you have going forward. If you're, I don't think I can do this. All right, then you don't think you can do it. But it's still going to be present. You came to this, you chose everything that is coming down into your life. You chose for it to sync up the way that it syncs up. So you got those one or two decisions over and over and over again. Which one are you going to do? You want more of the same? Keep doing the same shit. You want something different? Do something different. I wrote it down. But these mentalities are these thought processes, these actions, these ideals are what are going to separate you from the niggas and bring you amongst the gods. When people want to think about the weight, the true weight of enlightenment, the only true weight of enlightenment is based on what you're willing to let go. What are you willing to let go of? What are you willing to hold on to? The things that you're going to start seeing, the things that you're already seeing, are the exact reflections of all of that shit. As much you see it, what the fuck you gonna do with it? Shit. Keep going there. I'm gonna close this one out early because I'm having a channeling moment. It took a lot of energy coming out of the coming back. It took a lot of energy to bring out this information, bring out this knowledge. I might end up doing a part two. Let me think. God Hour podcast is coming back next week. Next week's lecture, it might not be at 8. Next week's lecture may not be at 8. Next week's lecture might be a little bit later because I have some other things that have been put into place, so I got to work on those things first. Might be at 8, might not be at 8. The website will be up next week. The website will be up the week. The website will be up on the 17th. Yeah.